Manu, what's your sense of what needs to be done in the immediate short term, over the next 48 to 72 hours, in the medium term, and then in a longer time frame to ensure that A, you are able to deal with the current crisis, and B, you don't end up with a crisis of this nature again? Manu.
Rahul, I don't think we can do anything more in the next 3 hours. We can only hope that the rainfall in the mountains, begins to decline, so that the water reaching to Delhi also comes down. But what can be done in the shorter term is, there are three things which Delhi can do locally. Actually, the problem has two parts. One is what happens in the upper catchment, and one is what happens in Delhi. Now, we can look at, making more lakes, cleaning up our lakes so that flood moderation can happen within Delhi. That is one thing, because out of our 1,000 water bodies, we now have only 400. One. Secondly, we have to have a lot of pumping installations at the mouth of our drainage system, because when the water in the river becomes high, you are closing the mouths of all your drains, which prevents them from emptying into the river. That means there's a backflow within the city. At that time, you need a lot of pumping. Okay. Third thing is that we need to de-seal the pavements of the city, because the absorption of water into the soil is not happening. Much more surface runoff is being generated, because everywhere we are paving, concretizing. So these are three things we can do in the short term. In the longer term, I think the Central Water Commission, which is really, in charge of our rivers, must look at the river channel and its cross sections to see where the sandbars have built up, where desilting is required. Then perhaps we may be able to deal with these issues better. But I think we also need to have a longer term understanding of how the extreme events are building up in the upper catchment and how they are going to flow down. Regarding the release from Hatni Kund, I don't think Haryana can prevent. It's not a storage structure. It is just a barrage for diversion of the water into the left and right canals. It cannot hold any water. When such amounts of water come, you have to release them into the river, because releasing them into the east and west Yamuna canal, that's a very, very limited option. You can't do much more. So this is a longer term thing. It has built up over decades.
Okay.
It requires some time to deal with it.
I think the most important thing you're saying is, don't forget this crisis once the water eases. And once life is back to normal, if we continue to silt the river in the way that it is, without desilting it adequately, without adequate dredging, this will happen again. Because of climate change, more and more extreme weather conditions are being seen. Everyone, the central government, the Central Water Commission, the Delhi government, citizens need to work in concert. And I hope that's the message that's going out to the AAP, to the BJP, and to everyone who's watching